Right. Questions for Kenyon Sadiq. Second row, Eric. Can you take first meeting in October and kind of what you remembered there, and maybe how that was beneficial for this learning from a loss?
Yeah, I kind of like two ways you can look at it. I think this year there's a lot of teams. You can look at Penn State, for instance, handled a loss, and then you can at teams like us, for instance. How we bounced back against Rutgers. That game kind of just, really says a lot about our team and the maturity. And after that game, I think it was good for us in a lot of ways, offensively, defensively, in a very mature way.
Front row, James.
It's nearly 3 months ago from that game. Will had mentioned a couple of days after that you were really limited in practice that week leading up to it. Just much or how little did you even do before that game, and how different today physically than you were at that point 3 months ago?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was very limited, and I think that had an impact on my play and the feel for the offense, as a whole. So, this week, I think it's important that I just, keep getting those reps in, a completely different offense, from that game. So, just important we come out there, start chemistry.
Left side, second row, John.
Last time you guys played them, you're still 11 as your base personnel, but since then you've had to adapt. It's been you and Jamari as kind of the physical, being able to find that 12 personnel with the two tight ends. How do you think that plays out, bringing that more physicality with those two tight ends out there?
Yeah, I think it allows us things. We don't just have to be in a physical, 12 personnel set. We can get it in 10 and doesn't as well. So I think that makes it a bit difficult for defenses to figure out what they want to do, whether they want, nickel sets or base sets. So, it gives us a bit of flexibility in a lot of areas.
Back left, Aaron.
The offense kind of struggled in the half to finish against Texas Tech. You guys were able to come back and have a better performance. But now after looking at the film, what are some ways that you're kind of focused on preparing for this next matchup and getting a little bit faster and being able to finish in the red zone to put some more points on the board?
Yeah, it comes down to the little things. I mean, if you watch the film, it's just like one missed block, that'll stopping the play. So, I mean, it's really just focus on the real, Texas Tech was really good players, and the same thing for Indiana. When it comes down to good on good, things like the technique. So, no, it's just honing in on those little details, later.
On the left, Eric. I wanted to get you Kendra. I know he's only been here a really short time, but just to see him moving around and probably what'd you see from him?
Yeah, I mean, he's done a good job. It's always nice to come in early and get a little head start. But I know he's done a great job.
Front row, James.
Like you mentioned, with 12 personnel, that you can operate in different sets. You saw in this past a little bit of 13, but it's not, I don't know how true a 13 it is, because the way he is and you're built the way you are. What does he provide, not only as a receiver, as a tight end, but as a perimeter blocker, particularly when you guys lose a guy like just doing that role?
Yeah, like you said, we're able to do things in those sets. So I think it makes us, like I said, very flexible as the offense. Those big sets, we're able to still run the ball, but you saw like example. I mean, we're really getting those 13 personnel sets and still throw outs and stuff like that. So like I said, it just makes it more difficult to guard down the road.
Second row, John.
The defense that throws as many different looks as they do in terms of their pressures, and seeing Dante grow as a leader for the offensive line, for the tight ends, everybody in terms of setting the person and being that kind of guy to make sure everyone's set as blockers.
Yeah, I think it's night and day. If you go watch our first Indiana game and you go this JMU, which ran a similar scheme, with pressures coming from just about everywhere. I mean, he just has a really mature mindset about it. Every week he comes in and attacks, and we can see in the building. So, we all trust him. He's going to get us in the right play. It is.
All the way in the back, Olivia.
Program really preaches that next man up mentality. How much more important does that end of the season? Guys might be hurting, and then on top of that, you're dealing with the transfer.
I mean, yeah, all those things play a role, whether you like it or not. So, I mean, it's just on what we have here. Lanning says it about every day in practice. There's going to be someone that shows up season. And that's so true. So, there'll be someone in this game that has a great goes. Once again, the depth of our roster, I think, those guys that have left, and the guys are down for injury, and there's still going to be guys stepping up and just about everywhere. Like I said, it just really shows the character, I think, of this team and the roster depth.
Front row, James.
They generate about as many TFLs as anybody in the country. I think they had the most TFLs of any opponent against you guys. What is it that they do effectively to be able to generate that pressure, not just in sacks, but yes, also
Yeah, I mean, obviously they have great players, then they have great schemes. So I mean, when you look at the stems they do, sim pressures, all those things, players winning their one-on-ones on the edges. Edges do a great job. So I think Tech was for us. I think they're the best front in the country. So getting a look at the depth of these guys, which is another great unit, I think it'll be good for us.
Second row.
Mentioned Tech being a good game for you, especially with their linebackers being two of the best. Indiana is another team with really good linebackers. They're out there in a base personnel a lot. Just how do you think the game is going to prepare you for facing those linebackers again, especially when it's you and Jamari out there now?
Yeah, like I said, really similar matchup for us. Tech's linebackers and these linebackers are amazing as well. So I think it's just going back to the technique thing. When it comes down to it, it's really who has better technique and who wants it more.
Front row, James.
I want to mention that Dan had cited something about March Madness and how they peak at the right time. Just can you convey a little bit more about what that's and what you took from that?
Yeah, it comes down to ball in November and December. Leading into January now, got a long season. No, it's really you need to peak at the right time. Peak in the middle of the season or stuff like that, and then kind of just trend downhill. About just staying on like the steady, climb up the mountain. So I think I think we're doing a really good job of it.
We good? Thanks, Kenny. Questions? Are we here in the second row with Eric? I wonder if you could reflect back on this game and just kind of what your lasting memories were from that and maybe how the defeat did this group psychologically.
Just didn't play up to our standard. As simple as that. We just got our brand of football, and we'll take care of business.
Front row, James.
You're one of the few guys who was here at the beginning 4 years ago and starting with Dan in this program in this building. And I realize it's a very different situation today, but how different a feeling is it last season when you guys had the season and a playoff game going there to the way things started in Atlanta?
I feel like, here we just continue to grow. That's been the theme of the team since I've been here. I feel like Coach Lanning, has really held the standard that, in every game year, we just continue to grow and grow and grow. So I feel like, yeah, that's just a result of, all those days of just continuing to get better and just growing. Yeah.
In the back, Olivia.
You've had 3 playing at Mercedes-Benz, whether it was when you were in high school or when you first transferred. What does it mean to be not only back in your home state, but back in that stadium?
It means a lot, going back to where it all started. My first big, I guess you can say football televised in that stadium. So, yeah, it'll bring back some good memories.
Second row, John.
You'd missed some games in that Indiana game originally was one where you were still kind of coming back from that injury. You felt like you're just back to 100% and more ready for this game the second time around.
Just honestly, just continually to do treatment, just routine. I feel like in the beginning of the season, I heard at practice, I wasn't wearing my girdle, so I wear my. So yeah.
Bro, James.
About as many TFLs as any team in the country defensively. What they do that is able to generate that much pressure, whether it's in pass rush or after you guys in the backfield.
They do a lot of exotic like pressures. They're real disciplined defense. They're real good do. And as far as like up front, they just the games. They do a lot of movement, stunts, twist games, and the line is gonna handle that, and it won't be a problem.
Second row. I'm gonna ask about that. your response backs in general in pass protection too, just because it can't just be the O-line right now. How difficult is it when they are coming from a variety of different spots and sometimes it's unpredictable?
I feel like just being slow and getting out and making sure it's like secure before you get out helps. I mean, sometimes it's they do a good job of disguising it. So sometimes it is like you don't come from, but if you're slow, you'll see it.
James,
We talked in this about how different things are for you in life compared to your young, when your fiance is traveling with your son amidst this whole deal and seeing, I'm sure you're aware of it when it's happening, but like when you see the videos thereafter,
Yeah.
like it's different, obviously, for her to be doing that.
Hmm.
What is like you're traveling on a plane with the rest of the guys and you're getting
Mhm.
that, but she's going through an infant and doing all that deal. So what is the experience when it's the non-football stuff, the off the field stuff?
Experience on it. Like when I'm with them traveling, or like her traveling alone, or just. I mean, it's a great experience. Like I come here, I show, and then I get to go home, who I'm very thankful for. It's not always easy. Like right now, my son, he kind of sick, so sleep is kind of non-existent. Who needs sleep? You know what I mean? But sure, like to just have those loved ones that you get the long car day at work, it's just, yeah.
where do you go, Brenna?
It was, mentioned about you playing these bends, and I know that there have been some difficulties there in terms of how those state championship games went, or the first one. Just how motivated are you to kind of flip of games you've had in that stadium?
I mean, every game's a new game. I don't really, hold any pens going into games from recent games, every new game. So it's like, I just want to win. I don't really care about my record in the stadium or past games that's happened. Like in this game, I'm going to be happy.
Dan?
What you can say about not only being in the backfield and the success that you've had, but Davison, just the 1-2 punch, we saw it a lot in the last Texas Tech, just what it's like to be in the backfield and feed off each other.
Well, I mean, like I'm the vet. I feed off of just seeing my younger guys just have success. They feed off me too. They always say you get us started, you get us going, feed off you. So we feed off each other. Like sometimes I'm in games where the run's not hitting the road. They're like, "Hey, bro, remember what you told me?" Like they'll tell me with them, and I'm like, "Damn, y'all sound like me. Like you coaching me up." So it's unique, man. It's special, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to share this time with them, because a lot of people don't get that. You don't get freshmen that get to come in and that's ready, and that's these guys. And I'm just happy that I got the opportunity to share the backfield.
Brenna?
I just wanted to know how many ticket requests you've gotten this week.
I got a lot, but I mean, I'm not bad at saying no. My team asked for much money for tickets this week, so I just chose to just be the bag. I mean, if you're not gonna like me over me not getting you a ticket to the game, then it's not genuine. So, but I got 10 so far. So yeah, it's my max.
Anything else? Anyone right over here? John, on the second row?
Just how important is the diversity that's in his run game when you're going into a rematch like this, where they've seen your run game before?
I feel like football is universal, so I run the same stuff. It's about how you go out there and execute it. And, it's about physical dominance, honestly, in the run game. When you got to line up against the person you're going against and move them in these lanes. Like, I mean, they going to know what we're going to run. We're going to know who's going to out physical the opponent and stop it.
Aaron?
Now that you got a chance to kind of reflect, what do you feel like was the difference between that first half when the offense struggled a little bit and the second half when you guys were able to get some stuff going?
I feel like that juice we brought into the locker room and have that helped a lot. And just going into that second half, we was just all positive vibes on the sideline. Like I feel like that juice, that positive affirmation, like that's big, and it's like big for success, like for offense, because you need so much to go right. You need everybody to move on one accord. As far as defenses, you need one person to make a play, But when we do that, having fun, we joking around, and we just being ourselves, being the human beings that we are. We go out there and we play to our standard, and yeah, we look different.
We good? Thanks, Gator.
Thank you.
First question goes to Eric on the left. Hey, Deontay, I'm wondering where the Orange Bowl offensive MVP trophy is and how we'll get that back at all.
Yeah, at first there was a video of me like caught in the moment. I didn't know they were announcing the MVPs and stuff. I was more engaged with the fans, but trophy was super heavy. A lot of oranges, of course. But great, great moment. As a kid, you dreamed about those things. Glad we got the win, and we're carrying on to this week.
Williams.
You talked about how you made the regular season what it was and didn't have as much joy. What has the last few days, how have you carried yourself differently mentally approaching this one?
Yeah, you say, in the past I talked about it. It was made the game bigger than what it was, and this week I kind of like how I've been doing these past weeks. Making sure I have the same routine when it comes to film, preparing my body, just getting ready for this moment, like I've been doing with Jen, Texas Tech. But yeah, this week, we're still the same off. We're just, having fun. Of course, practice, we've been having, some little bit, that's what practice is all about. You got to learn from it. But yeah, Indiana's, a good team, and we're just ready to go out there, play football. It's 11-11. I think we're excited for it.
Second row left, John.
Henry was just in here impressed by your growth as a leader for the blocking unit when it comes to setting protections. And after that first game, just how have you seen yourself continue to develop in the pre-snap starting set, especially when you're going against a defense that's going to throw as much stuff as they do?
Yeah, I got to give their DC and the defense their credit. They do a great job bringing multiple different, showing different looks, pre-snapping and going post-snap. So yeah, just watching the film. At the end of the day, of course, they might throw some just how game plans work, and they might get us on it, and then that's when you go to watch the film and see we can go from there and just learn from it. So at the end of the day, taking these protections and these, run game things important. You got to protect yourself, got to protect your body. If I had to give a quarterback tip or any incoming freshmen, I'll say learn protections first, because everybody can spin the ball, but you can't spin the ball while you're on your back. So we got to make sure the protection is right, and I've been kind of taking that more seriously, just understanding, body health, making sure that, we can move the ball and keep moving the chains.
Right next to him, Eric. What did you take away? What were you taught from the game with Indiana, and how valuable could those lessons be in a rematch?
Too fast on progressions. There was some times where there was an open guy, and you can say I was kind of seeing ghosts out there. It was more of just trying to get through my progressions too. Another thing too is when I climb to the pocket, I tend to rush and get out. And there were some times where I can climb in, and there was no need for me to move. So those are probably the two biggest things to learn from there. But yeah, I'm feeling real confident and excited.
Back here, Aaron.
Just in that first half against Tech, you guys were able to move the chains, but just couldn't finish in the end zone. Just be done in preparation for this semifinal matchup, prove that and improve the finishing.
Yeah, gotta love our kicker. He does a great job making kicks, and yeah, as a quarterback, getting the ball in the end zone, you want to score touchdowns, put points up. But yeah, Texas Tech defense was amazing. They did a great job, of course, on short runs. They just had a great game plan, and at the end of the day, of course, we beat ourselves sometimes. We shot ourselves in the foot, and from there, just go from there. So, we had a lot of mistakes that's corrected this side to put points on the board.
Front left, James.
A couple of guys have mentioned that Coach Lanning cited March Madness and the way the team time and how key that is at this time. What have you taken from that message? Share a little bit more of the detail of what he was saying.
Yeah, Coach Lanning does a great preparedness. That's somebody that
Recording stopped.
Season matchup about, yes, quarterback against each other, but it's awfully built that way. And depending who's to do, there's going to be a captive audience of NFL fans paying attention to you. How do you mentally prepare for and head into when so much of it's you and Fernando, and how you do against each other, and who's ahead of who for, depending on what you do, and all those sorts of things?
Yeah, I mean, I got to give Fernando his credit. I mean, he's had a hell of a had some great years. This is our third time playing against each other, UCLA this year, and it's our third time, and he works his tail off. A very smart quarterback, talented quarterback, but I think
In progress.
what I take away from him is just he gives through his success, through his accolades, through his wins, gives time to glorify God, and that's something I appreciate and respect towards him. But yeah, it's things that of course we prayed for. I mean, at the end, I started football at 4 years old. Everybody's goal is to get to the Natty. But yeah, it can be all these things going on. I'm human. I see it on. But I told myself that I shouldn't be engaged with it because I do. I'm thinking about myself, and I'm not thinking about the 10 other guys on the field with me, so that I can give them my 100% love and attention. Without them, I wouldn't be in my situation right now. So I'm thankful for my teammates, and it's gonna be a great game. And when I see Fernando again, we talk after the game. Whatever we do, I mean, I got to play against them.
We're going to go to the Zoom, and for those of you on the Zoom dropped out for a while there, what you missed will be in the Dropbox, so you can check that out. We'll go to Dan.
Dante, a two-part, you just brought up your faith and how important that is. What you can say about how your faith guides you and why you keep God first, and then say just how you've seen your game from game one to where you are now, just how you've evolved as a quarterback and as a leader, and how you've seen that be tangible.
Yeah, got to give, of course, all glory to God. He's blessed us. I mean, everybody in this room, he's blessed. He's blessed. Just just myself, just the time, my journey. There's been many times where I won't, but of course, I gotta respect and appreciate God's time, and I understand I have my faith in Him. But yeah, playing against Indiana, of course, the first time result we wanted. But with this time, of course, we watched the film. We're gonna adjust things, and I'm excited for that game and get going.
Who's in the front left?
Just mentioned about portal at this time, Dante, and coaches have talked a lot about how the calendar and what changes that. It's also awkward at times for you as well. You have a draft decision, and the portal's open, and what does the future of this program do? From a player's perspective, what could be or what adjustments need to be made so that there's less stress on guys like you with those, or when some of your teammates are thinking about the portal, but you have a different calendar than some teams who they don't have a decision until next week after. So what, from a player's perspective, to somebody who's gone through it, has to change to make this just better, to where your OC is in Washington for a couple of days, to where you're going up against it, to where programs, to where teams playing for a championship can focus on a championship.
This whole process it's crazy. Of course, when I hit the portal, I knew where I was going right away. And of course, in a different situation, like I wasn't in the playoffs. I was at UCLA. I was ready for that moment. But yeah, it's a lot that comes. I don't really have much to say about it because I mean, I think about it, But yeah, there can be a way we can fix it. I think Coach Landon, I've been saying, in his past interviews, different ways to change it. So whatever Coach Landon says, I agree. So I don't know what else to say.
On the left, John.
You guys have found a bit of a different identity on that first game, just going from base 11 to base 12 as you had to adapt to the series. Just the plays are a lot of the same stuff because Kenyon can do special things at tight end. But how do you think that just presents a different matchup for Indiana to do when they're a team that likes to play three linebackers out there a lot?
Yeah, Indiana's linebackers, of course, are very talented. Of course, we have nail matches. But yeah, I mean, this whole year we've been finding to become a successful offense, and Coach Stein, of course, does a great job to come multiple plays with different personnels and things of that nature. But we're excited. Everybody's feeling healthy. Everybody's ready to get going, and what happens.
Anything else? Thanks, Dante.
Thank you. Have a great day.
So let's put it up with questions for Isaiah. Start right here on the second row with Eric. Yeah, just curious on having fan of once before, kind of what is it that makes them so difficult to and protections of it to stop?
Question. Thing like we already went over. They got a good coach over there. Program. A lot of dudes with the like mindset as we have, but they got a lot of stuff. You know, they got a good defense. Multiple different coverages they play out of. A lot of looks that we have to account for, and just we need to make sure we're all on the same page. Our communication and stuff. That's what hindered us.
Second row, John.
Mentioned that communicate Dante, especially and as a leader for that O-line room, step up since that first game and just really set everybody to make sure you're sliding the right way and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Like you said, Don definitely had a lot of things we could have improved on last game. Like Coach Lennon said, we a new team in name as well, so it was just taking the next steps, just getting better and making sure we're all on the same page. We do our weekly protection meeting so we can make sure like we have the same thought pattern and just anything else we could do to get the edge.
In the second row, Eric. What did the first game kind of to you personally, and kind of what lessons did you learn that are maybe valuable this week?
Yeah, definitely. Feeling that the pain of the loss, like we in Austin Stadium. So I think just knowing and recognizing that and what we did that wasn't good to make us lose, and going and correcting and doubling down on our team. You know, just going back to the hey stat.
Questions? James, front row.
Touch on a little bit, but what do they do is that difficult, Isaiah? Like, because a whole bunch of defenses run simulated pressures,
Right.
but they generate more TFL in the country. So everybody goes about preparing for this, and yet they still manage that. So is it just they show a variety of looks? Do they show a lot of look, and it's just hard to know what they're doing? What is it that makes them so successful?
Yeah, like I said before, they got like a good group of guys, so that definitely makes it hard. Number 4, I learned that this week he has the free for all to go give the balls and stuff. So sometimes they check to match our person. They match anything we do. They check when we check, and they do to get the most advantageous look for their defense. So just trying to find those looks and stuff that they do, like even just I know, like I just already said it earlier, but a lot of it is just communication and making sure we're all on the same page. Because with all the variety, we all have to be on the same page. I mean, this part is just playing with effort and then just going harder, longer than the whistle than they are.
Anything else? Anybody on the Zoom? All right. Thanks, Isaiah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.